Pearl Harbor Rewind by Angelita Allen. Pearl Harbor the movie is an American action drama made in 2001 depicting the Pearl Harbor attack on December 1941. It was directed by Michael Bay and produced by Jerry Bruckheimer and Randall Wallace. The movie takes place in 1923 in Tennessee, where two best friends, Rafe McCauley and Danny Walker, are playing together in the back of an old biplane. They were pretending to be soldiers fighting the Germans in the World War I. Fast forward 18 years later, Danny and Rafe become the first lieutenants under the command of Major Jimmy Doolittle. December 7th, 1941, the Japanese begins its attack on Pearl Harbor. The first scene that I found inaccuracies was the hospital scene. They show a bomb tearing through the building. Many patients and nurses take for cover from this horrendous threat. And although the Naval Hospital at Pearl Harbor was near major military installations, in the actual Pearl Harbor event or attack, the hospital was slightly damaged during the attack and was never hit by any bombs. The first wave of Japanese planes did come over the naval hospitals, but none of the planes fired upon the hospital or made any attempts to bomb it. Actually, after the attack, special measures were put in place to protect the hospital from receiving large numbers of casualties. During this scene, the movie does not take advantage of explaining in depth the reason Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. Though the reasons were significant, the movie simply explains that America had cut off Japan's oil and that it was Japan's lifeline. However, the reasons were much more complicated than that. The economic sanctions were passed by the United States against Japan. These included trade embargoes on aircraft exports, scrap metal, and oil, and other key goods. The goods gave economic support to their forces. Tokyo and Washington would negotiate for months leading up to the Pearl Harbor attack, but to no avail. The people of Japan were angry with the Westerners' interference in Asians' affairs. Japan believed that war with the United States was inevitable to defend its status as a major world power. After the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Americans were quickly committed to utilizing all of America's assets, which included women. As men fought abroad during the war, women became workers in defense plants and volunteered for war-related organizations. At home and abroad, nearly 350,000 American women served in uniform. The women in uniform drove trucks, repaired airplanes, flew military aircrafts across the country, and even test flew newly repaired planes. However, the movie only depicts women mostly as nurses, as petite, small nurses. And though nurses played a huge part during this time, there were so many other gifts and talents that women brought and contributed. What I've learned through watching the movie as well as researching is that on December 7th, 1941, 350 Japanese aircrafts attacked the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor. 2,403 men were killed in the attack. 18 U.S. naval vessels, including 8 battleships, were irreparably damaged or sunken. Americans were shocked and angered. This act of terrorism would turn the United States public in favor of entering the Second World War, which was declared December 8th, 1941. I found this movie to be pretty good. It did have many inaccuracies. There were many opportunities to really go in deep and detail with how significant the Pearl Harbor attack was. And I feel like they dropped the ball. But in all, the movie was a really good movie. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.